Jason, how were your feelings going into halftime?
A lot of anger, aggravation, disappointment. Really was displeased with our first half. I really felt like Philadelphia was the better team in the first half. I thought we were very fortunate to have a lead at all. Really, I think if the score would have been what I thought it should have been, it probably would have been 3-1, us down. And so that doesn't make me happy at all. I felt like Philadelphia wanted the game more in the first half, and that's unacceptable. So we let the players know that. There was no disagreements on their part, and what we saw was a fantastic reaction in the second half. And we ended up getting what we deserved and what we worked for, which was a result in the end.
How do you, when you're disappointed in the first half, how do you explain the way, after all the build-ups that come out with that sort of effort?
I think it can be a lot of different things, as I talked about during the week. We've had a tendency to not play well for multiple matches in a row. I think we played a fantastic game last week, and I think in the past we've had difficulties coming back and playing well. When we play really well one week, the next week typically there's a little bit of a letdown, so I would say that had played a factor. I would say the afternoon kickoff played a little bit of a factor in the energy level. And I would say sometimes in the past, and probably today as well, we occasionally overestimate teams. Don't show them the proper amount of respect that we should. So I think all three of those things added up is why we saw what we did in the first half.
What happened to Robbie Finley? Was it a specific play where he got hurt?
Yeah, it was. He took a knee to the gluteus maximus.
How bad is that?
I'm hoping it's not bad. I've been in that particular case before. It's hard to tell. I mean, he said his leg was feeling a little bit numb, I think, so we shall see.
It seemed like all three goals were very, guys were in the right position at the right time and took advantage of some good opportunities.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to remember them all now. The first one came off a back pass, and this back pass on their part was something Leo jumped on, and then it was unfortunate. I think it was a shot blocked. Kyle Beckman was right in the right place at the right time. The second goal, who scored the second goal? Olave, yeah. Right place, right time, but a great ball by Javier in a dangerous position. Knocks off Chris Seitz to Hamas. And the third goal, I think, was a little bit of a nice play, a real nice combination play between Saverio and Campos.
On that note, how did you feel playing two bigs up front worked out? I mean, I know you didn't want to have to do it, but how did you?
Two bigs?
Yeah, two Saverio and Campos, two large. Big forwards.
Whoa. I thought they did well. I thought they combined well. They're both obviously very good in the air. I think that they're both not your prototypical big striker. And then I think that they both are very good running the ball at players. I think they both have more pace than your prototypical big striker would have. And I think they're both capable of doing a lot of other things than just playing with their back to the goal and knocking things down for other forwards.
How do you feel about having Javier back? How important was it? Did we see the best, maybe not the best, but I mean, did you see him do what he wanted to be able to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's really important. As we know, he's a special player, and we're going to need him. If we want to be a successful team in the season and have a chance to win the cup again, we're going to need Javier Morales to be at his best. And I would say tonight in particular was not his best. But it's his first game. I mean, when we sit and think about it, he hasn't played more than 30 minutes since the second match of the season. So there's some rust to be knocked off for sure. And I thought he in particular had a much better second half than he did first half.
How was Olave?
Unsure. Another game that he goes down 2 or 3 times with pain. So I'm concerned. There's no doubt about it. I'm concerned about that situation.
Robbie Russell left out of the lineup intentionally to rest him, or?
Yep, it was a pretty quick turnaround between today and Thursday. We have 3 outside backs that we think are starting caliber backs, and so there's a little bit of an intentional rotation for sure.
National call-ups are not too far out. Would you speak to the guys that have been in the mix a little bit from your team? How you feel their form is right now?
Kyle Beckerman tonight, for me, far the man of the match. He was an absolute monster. I thought the entire match, and he was one of maybe 2 or 3 players that I think was wholly committed in the first half and led by example. He was all over the park, winning balls and connecting passes. I would love to see him be in consideration. I don't know what the facts are with that. And then with Robbie, I don't know whether the injury will play a part into his selection either. So I don't know what else to say. I think both of them should have a chance and should be in consideration.
Talking about Kyle's temperament, when you mentioned it at halftime about the play, what was his response was what you expected?
Yeah.
Very,
Well, you know, honestly, I pulled him to the side and told him that, you are doing just an absolute great job right now. You're leading by example. And sometimes I think it's extremely rewarding and maybe even a little odd who scores goals. Because for that ball to fall to him as the defensive midfielder, being in that kind of position, is odd. But he deserves the goal, and I really appreciate when guys score goals and they deserve it. He worked so hard that it was great to see him get the goal.
Were you a bit surprised that, unlike Toronto, that Philadelphia actually came out, attacked, and looked to try and win a match instead of playing the defensive bunker style that Toronto did?
I wouldn't say that I'm surprised because we watched enough of their games over the past 5 games, and I think they've done that in every game. They haven't come in with a negative mentality. They haven't come in to bunker and try to get a draw away. They just come out and played. And so I wasn't surprised by it. And I think credit to them. Again, I think it's important that they should take a lot out of that game because, as I said, they were by far, for me, the better team in the first half.
Several times during the match, Javier was out extremely wide out right by the touchline. Was that something, was there any design to that or just a case of him finding the open spots?
He does that often. He does that often. He'll go and just try to find spots where he can get the ball, some time and space, and make some plays happen.
Okay, guys, locker room's open.